Hey everyone, it's Mr. Miles. Just going to give you a quick explainer on what to do today, Thursday, March 9th, 2023. So let me just tell you kind of the goal, the overarching kind of plan that for American Lit today. So today we read Patrick Henry's speech in the Virginia Convention. Okay. Yesterday we read Benjamin Franklin. We read autobiography and the aphorisms. Okay, so those are online, both of those. Make sure you do those if you have not done those. Patrick Henry. So, speech in the Virginia Convention. You click this link, takes you to the document here. Okay, and as you can see, you see my end of what's going on and where everybody's commented. So, what you're doing is you are reading and annotating and analyzing this speech for his rhetoric. Okay. So essentially, in a nutshell, your essay for this next unit, okay, this revolutionary unit, your essay is you're going to pick two of the next three texts that we read: Patrick Henry, The Crisis by Thomas Paine, and the Declaration of Independence by mostly Thomas Jefferson. You're going to pick two of those three, and you're going to basically argue why those two are the most effective at persuasion. Okay, so you're going to do a rhetorical analysis similar to what you did with Jonathan Edwards, and you're going to basically just unpack each one. How does it use ethos, pathos, or logos? How does it use scare tactics, name calling, bandwagon, so on and so forth? And so that's kind of what you're going to be doing for this essay. So I'm going to be giving you opportunities to read closely, annotate, analyze, unpack, and essentially figure out what is going on with the way that these three texts over the next three days are being persuaded using their persuasive techniques. So with this one, this is Patrick Henry. He was an elected official, the Virginia House of Burgesses, or Burgesses. Is it Burgesses or Burgesses? I'm not sure which one. I think it's Burgesses, which is basically the state House of Representatives for the state of Virginia. And he was speaking on March, I believe, yes, in 1775, essentially a month before the battles of Lexington and Concord, which are the first battles of the American Revolution. And there's still plenty of people who are either still loyal to Great Britain or on the fence about whether to join the independence movement or stay with Great Britain. And so right before Patrick Henry got up to speak, a bunch of loyalists essentially got up and spoke their piece about why they should continue negotiating. And King George loves us. Let's just keep working with King George and we'll eventually figure this all out. We'll hash it out. It's no problem. And Patrick Henry gets up and he speaks and he delivers his point in that famous line, "Give me liberty or give me death." And so essentially this whole speech is a response to the previous people who spoke, essentially arguing for staying loyal for King George. And so "give me liberty, give me death" is the whole crux of the argument here. It's the whole point. We're not going to stay loyal. We are going to declare our independence. Everything is bad and we need to fix it. And the only way to fix it is by breaking away. And so that's essentially the gist of what happens here. So what you're going to do is you're going to read and you're going to annotate. And if you don't remember how to annotate with Edgy, all you do is you click a word, you click comment, new, and then you type, okay, and then save. And that's your comment, okay? And so now you can see what comment you made. The goal for you, and I'll go ahead and mention this as well. If you want, there are preloaded quick comments. You just click that and you say, "Ooh, that's an example of hyperbole." Yeah, right there. That's awesome. And you can do that as well. So you can add quick comments to various things as well. Here's my thing. You need to annotate as much as is reasonable to help you get the gist out of this text, because you may pick this text to analyze for your essay. The more that you have analyzed this text for your essay, the better off you will wind up being down the road, because you won't have to go back to the text and look for all this text evidence all over again and so on and so forth. So that's my essential kind of point in all this and making you do this is so that you are going ahead and gathering whatever quotes, whatever information, whatever stuff that you need for your essay, and already labeling it, marking it, annotating it, commenting on it, so that you are already starting to think about how you're going to explain its effectiveness. Okay. So Patrick Henry, you know, for my own part, I consider it nothing less than a question of freedom or slavery. Okay. Okay, well, that might be an example of hyperbole, freedom or slavery, right? King George is not here to literally enslave the colonists, but the word slavery makes people start to really freak out, right? And that might also be an example of loaded language as well. It's a very charged word negatively. So when people say slavery, right, it's not the same. It's not quite the same as if Patrick Henry had just said, to me, the choice is as clear as freedom and being inconvenienced, right? No, it's not. It's not quite as effective as saying freedom or slavery, right? So loaded language, hyperbole, right? This is effective because it paints the conflict as essentially between two very opposite poles: freedom, slavery. Which one are you going to pick? You can't sit in the middle. Which one are you going to pick? And obviously, there's no reason to pick slavery, so you're going to pick freedom, right? And so by framing it that way, Patrick Henry does what he's trying to do, accomplishes his persuasive mission, which is trying to persuade people to rebel against King George. So that's an example of what I'm asking to do. Take the words that Patrick Henry is using and then unpack them, analyze them. How is he being persuasive? How is he being effective? So do that, analyze it all, and then answer the questions and do the kind of mini questions here between each paragraph. And then once you answer those questions, down here at the bottom, you'll just do the soapstone. Okay, so you click on it, tell me who the speaker is, what's the occasion, who's the audience, what's the purpose, what's the subject, what's the tone. And the tone, remember, is not loud. Okay, that's not what tone is. Tone is how does the author feel about his subject? Okay, what does the author believe about his subject? Okay, how does Patrick Henry feel about what he's speaking on? Okay, so that's what tone is. Don't get that mixed up with like, oh, he had a loud or angry tone of voice. That's not exactly what that means. Okay, how does he feel about what he's writing about? All right. So that's essentially the assignment in a nutshell for today. Okay, now there is one particular thing that I wanted to cover, and that is parallel structure. Okay, so parallel structure is a thing that Patrick Henry uses very frequently. It is essentially, so sometimes people get this confused with like repetition. Repetition is like if I just take a word and I repeat it over and over again, right? Like, you are going to study and study and study, right? That's repetition. Parallel structure is on the more sentence structure level. So if repetition is more diction, more word choice, right? I'm using the same word over and over again. Parallel structure is I am using the same sentence structure or part of a sentence again and again to make it add rhythm, to make it add flow to what it is that I'm trying to say. I just did parallel structure, if you caught it, and I didn't even realize I was doing it, to make it add rhythm, to make it add flow. That was parallel structure. So parallel structure is keeping the same sentence structure to add a sense of rhythm and cohesion to what it is you're trying to say. So for example, Abraham Lincoln says, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. He changes one word, but he keeps the same structure for those three chunks of the people, by the people, for the people. Okay. John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He keeps the same structure on both halves of that sentence. He just changes a word or two here or there. Okay. So parallel structure. So we're going to do some examples real quick just so I can kind of illustrate what it is I'm talking about so that you, when you read Patrick Henry, you know what to look out for. So what I said or my actions upset everyone in the room. That's not parallel. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to make it consistent. So I need to keep the same structure on both of those things. What I said, my actions. So another way of saying what I said is I could say my words or my actions upset everyone in the room. Okay. My words or my actions. So now it's consistent and it has a little bit more of a flow to it when I say it out loud. She suggested that I write a memoir and to send it to a good publisher. Now, some people may not catch that this is not parallel. She suggested that I write a memoir. Okay? I write a memoir and to send it. Either I could say she suggested to write a memoir and to send it, or that I write a memoir and send it to a good publisher. That too throws a monkey wrench into the whole sentence because it adds an extra word that was not there in the previous chunk of the sentence. So, what I would do to fix that is I would say something probably like, she suggested that I write a memoir and send it to the publisher, or whatever the sentence is. Okay. That fixes that parallel because those two verbs are being used in the same way. Write, send, not write and to send. Okay. Or to send and writing, or something like that. You want to keep the verbs consistent. That way the structure is consistent. And so this is what parallel structure looks like. What I will do is I will also post this link right here, which is the kind of background info on parallel structure. It's kind of a self-teaching unit, so in case you need more uh, help with it, okay? And also, if you look at these little highlighted links here, all of these links take you to exercises, okay, for parallel structure. So that's essentially what parallel structure is. You go back to Patrick Henry, you try to find examples of parallel structure in Patrick Henry. It is absolutely saturated with it, so it should not be very difficult to find Patrick Henry using parallel structure effectively in this speech. Okay, but that's essentially the assignment for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'll be happy to explain it to you.